So, here we go.
It was filled with childish frustrations and complexes which the police were searching for James Thomas, believed
Hello, hello.
Hi.
Hi. You're listening to Midnight Movie Gang. This is episode 11. I'm your host, Elsie Hines, and I'm here with
Joseph Arthurs.
my good buddy, Joseph. Episode 11. We're here.
11.
Yeah, this has been the longest gap between recording episodes, probably just because it's holidays. Yeah, Christmas.
Killing it, though.
It's the first episode of 2024. How were your holidays, man?
They weren't bad. Christmas gets a little less Christmassy as you grow up, and but New Year's was fun. And Christmas here, Elsie held a Secret Santa.
Yeah.
And that kicked ass.
Yeah, we did a Secret Santa, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
To organize. Everyone really showed up with the Secret Santas. In college, I used to organize the Secret Santas.
Yeah.
For a school's radio station I used to went to. Was heavily involved in my school's radio station, and my freshman year was the first year I did not organize it. It was organized by upperclassman, my buddy Mark, and that first year for my Secret Santa,
Yeah.
what I got was a mug that said "World's Greatest Dad."
Wow.
And it was in like my school gift shop bag, and it had the receipt. And the receipt was literally from 10 minutes before.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So they literally just ran in and grabbed something. Or like,
Yeah.
they'll think this is ironically funny.
Yeah, and they tried to explain it like, cause you're like so wise.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I felt betrayed. And from that
Aw.
point on, I'm like, I will not let anyone have a shitty Secret Santa like
Aw.
I did.
That's your origin story.
I'll give people lots of
Your
updates.
superhero origin story.
Yeah, no, it's pretty much. It was like, and thus Christmas shall be great forever. But yeah, I love doing Secret Santa. I love it a lot more than doing White Elephant. I know White Elephant's popular, but I don't.
Everyone I've talked to about White Elephant say they fucking hate it.
I've never done it. I've never participated
Yeah.
in one. Just based off of like what it is, it's awful. Like I can't think of a gift that's like just a general gift to give to people.
Yeah,
And
that's the thing is like, especially for like a spending limit, it's like it's so much better to have like something to know about the person you're buying or making something for.
Exactly. Plus, I didn't know this was a twist, but I also like to have it where you have to guess who your Santa is.
Yeah, that
Which
was new.
Apparently, I thought that was a traditional part of it,
Yeah.
but apparently it's not.
Yeah, it was fun though.
Yeah.
Stressful.
Yeah, that was true. Like, it's like murder mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's cool, man. What did you do for New Year's?
So me and some friends got together and we just kind of hung out. We had like just a low key thing.
Sick.
Yeah. Nothing to write home about, but it was fun.
Awesome. Yeah, no, we went to like a small town
Yeah.
gathering with like a little glass. Like they had their own little like
Oh
ball.
yeah,
You
yeah.
just bought, but it was just attached to like a construction vehicle. But it was fun. There was food and stuff.
That's great.
Anyway, yeah. So we're here to talk about a certain director.
Yes.
Scorsese. Whatever.
Yeah.
How do you say it?
I say Scorsese.
I also say Scorsese, but I've been watching a lot of interviews and shit lately.
Does he call himself Scorsese?
I don't think I've heard him say it, but everyone who's worked with him I've heard refer to him as Scorsese.
Whatever.
Yeah. Tomato.
I'm never gonna meet him.
Yeah. In particular, the specific movies we're gonna kind of focus on.
Yeah.
Is gonna be movies we watched tonight. We watched Raging Bull.
Hell yeah.
Which is a movie I had not seen
Love it.
up till now, and Joseph had. And then last night we watched. Thankfully, only watched that last night because it was so long.
We planned around the length.
Yep. Killers of the Flower Moon,
Yeah.
Scorsese's most recent film, which came out late last year. This is going to be a long episode because I got a lot to say about Flower Moon.
Oh my god. Dense.
Yeah, no, dense movie. And then we're probably also going to talk about some of his other movies because as soon as we decided that this was going to be the topic of this episode, I did a little Scorsese dive. I watched Gangs of New York, which I had not seen.
Never seen it.
Yeah, no, it was okay. I kind of feel that Daniel Day-Lewis is incredible in it.
Of course he is.
Like his character,
he's never not.
Yeah, no, he's the best part of it. And it's just kind of mid. And then I rewatched
That's what I've
Goodfellas, which I had not seen since high school. And it's so fucking phenomenal.
It's so good. That is my have on movie. Like that's my. I put it on when I'm sick.
Mm-hmm.
Put it on when I'm in a bad mood. It's just. It's like I've seen it so many times, but it just always holds up, and it's so long that I don't remember everything that happens in it. So.
It's definitely a comfort movie kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And I definitely understand it being.
It's just thoroughly entertaining.
Yeah, a good movie to have on in the background because like there's always something I kind of like about it. I really liked about Goodfellas, and something I kind of notice with Scorsese across the board. I feel like his movies, to me, almost kind of feel like it's a bunch of short films. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's feel like a series of short films all come together, and a big part of that is probably just because his movies usually take place over the course of like a few years, or whatever. So like that,
there's like different arcs and stuff.
Yeah, almost that Boyhood effect where like you can kind of every scene, every like situation, every like mini plot can feels like its own isolated scene. So when you kind of like jump into the middle of it, like I can imagine, like if back when there was cable, when people had cable, if Goodfellas was just on TV, I feel like I could just sit down and watch it starting at whatever point.
Yeah, that's true.
And know what's going on.
No, it's like a TV series, and honestly, that's what Flower Moon felt like the first it was like a mini series. Yeah,
it was like an HBO.
It's like we sat and binge watched a mini series.
Yeah,
that's what it felt like.
It's interesting you bring that up because I've got thoughts on that aspect of it too. But Goodfellas is definitely, I would say, his most fun movie that I've seen. Yeah. And then I haven't rewatched the Departed yet. I need to rewatch that.
Honestly, I'm not. I like The Departed a lot. I think it's one of his least Scorsese movies, and I think that's why I'm not like huge on it. But I'm a big fan of the reason I like Raging Bull so much is I'm a big fan of these like intense character studies that revolve around one character, and their flaws and their strengths and what that gets them in life, and but you know, The Departed is just kind of like a crime drama, and I think it's like one of the best crime dramas ever made. It just doesn't feel very Scorsese. As
Scorsese's some other movies, I mean, a part of it too is that it came out in kind of like with Gangs of New York in that like early 2000s era. I feel like that specific period in time is not Scorsese's period.
Yeah, a lot of his movies feel just timeless. Like like Raging Bull, we said Raging Bull feels timeless. I'd say a lot of his stuff from the 80s and the 70s, like the 70s feels very dated. But The Departed feels extremely 2000s to me when I watch it. And I think that,
I was going to say the same thing about Gangs in New York. There are certain... There are certain... I don't want to spoil it, but there are certain musical and certain, editing and framing choices in Gangs in New York that felt super early 2000s. Yeah. And felt very dated in the moment. But Raging Bull especially, like I was comparing it to like a lot of modern movies. It felt very now. And then with Killers of the Flower Moon, I felt like something I thought about this whole time. Like I feel like I'm watching like a historical like 60s epic, like restored, you know, like fucking like Lawrence of Arabia, like with a crazy 4K restoration or something.
Just,
you know,
it feels like this big event movie.
So speaking of, Raging Bull, probably want to talk about that first, since it's
get that out.
not get out of the way.
Do Raging Bull because we're probably gonna talk about Flower Moon for longer.
Recording. Raging Bull. So you're way more familiar with this movie than I am. If you want to go ahead and what's up?
Want to talk about the tea?
The tea. Oh yeah. Let's talk about what tea we're drinking.
Yeah.
We're drinking some tea. Joseph, what tea are we drinking?
I think we're drinking Bigelow chai, vanilla chai tea, and it's very delicious. I love chai and I love vanilla.
Yeah, chai is pretty lit. This is Courtney's least favorite, though. Courtney always says it tastes like spicy water.
I understand.
Drawn.
But I think I love the smell of vanilla more than the taste. But the smell is a big factor.
Yeah. The taste is for me. Chai always just kind of like wakes me up. Like it feels very sharp.
Yeah.
In a good way.
It's just a good flavor.
It is an excellent flavor. Yeah. I meant to grab some like I'm all out of the ginger peach tea, which is my favorite. Which I definitely gotta try again.
Sad.
Anyway, so Raging Bull. If you want to just tell us someone asked you what Raging Bull was about, what would you tell them? Like, oh, I'm thinking of checking it out.
Raging Bull is 100% about Jake LaMotta. It's about a boxer who was arguably too good, and extremely stubborn and extremely flawed. It's a character study of this this boxer, and it's
Who was a real guy.
yes,
Oh,
and it in the 40s, and it's honestly mostly about his personal life and his relationships and his insecurities. It's a very cold and real look at him. It's not sanguine or hero worshipy at all. It's 100% like, this guy had deep flaws. This guy was very insecure. This guy was abusive and very of his time and his beliefs. But you can't look away, and that's my favorite kind of movie. I love a deeply flawed main character that's a very strong performance. It's a movie that's so focused on one person.
Yeah, it is like very razor sharp. So would that also say, I wanted to ask, before the first time you saw this movie, did you know anything about the real guy, about the real Jake LaMotta?
Still don't.
So just this movie.
Yeah, just this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't know anything about the real guy. I knew more about just some of the other boxers. Like, I knew Sugar Ray Robinson.
Yeah.
And I knew Tony Gennaro. But yeah, as far as him specifically, I guess we're judging this movie more based on, because I guess neither of us know a whole lot about the real guy. I don't know
anything about him.
I don't necessarily know how accurate it is, but I will say that De Niro's performance, like, this probably, it's hard to say this is his best performance, because I think, especially
it's up there for me,
when he's collaborating with Scorsese, kind of every performance is his best performance.
Scorsese just gets it out of him.
Yeah, no, like, and he definitely does have, like, he's playing, his insecurity really is just his, combined with his anger, really is just his fault. And there are definitely some scenes in here where he's just like acting so much with his eyes, like they're just like little. Oh my god,
he's got this big nose prosthetic on.
Yeah, which at times was distracting. More
a little bit
for me. More in the later scenes of the movie when like his he gained, like after he's gained like a lot of weight.
Yeah.
It stood out to me a bit more. But yeah, no, like he's just watching things go down and like the people around him, and you can see like. Little conspiracy, like demons on his shoulder, like convincing him, that bullshit is afoot.
It starts, he cheats on his wife with a 15-year-old. He's 19 at the time.
Supposed to be.
Yeah, supposed to be. He looks old.
He looks like 30, and the 15-year-old girl.
This relationship starts with him cheating on his wife, and a good portion of the dialogue for the rest of the movie is him suspecting his wife of cheating on him with literally every man around him, including ones that he and she have never met. He was very insecure, and I think that's really interesting for a boxer.
Yeah. Any kind of like athlete. I feel like as far as boxing movie, or a good amount of other sports movies I've seen outside of Rocky. Like, I'm thinking about this just because saw The Iron Claw recently.
Yeah.
Highly recommend that movie. That'd be a fun one to do an episode about.
Wrestling.
Like, the fact that a lot of, being an athlete and like something like this where it's very singular, you're not necessarily as part of a team or something, is having to keep your image up.
Yeah.
And like having, like not, making yourself like look bad. And I feel like in this movie that definitely is a big part of why he is kind of so insecure, is that he's worried it's going to affect his image.
It's that fragile confidence. It's all about like external validation. It's and you can tell like his looks are a pain point for him, his weight especially, and I think that's an interesting.
He's very insecure about his weight throughout the whole movie,
and I think that's interesting because weight is such an important factor for a boxer. So you have people constantly talking to you about it. You have people constantly making little comments, especially back then. People are way less sensitive. You have people like constantly bringing it up and criticizing you for your weight, and you're constantly thinking about it because if you don't make weight, you're losing money, you're losing opportunities. It must just be hell.
You know, there are a lot of scenes where like he's in the sauna like doing jumping jacks, like
man.
trying to like get all the water weight out, and he's like, "Can I just have one ice
Just
cube?"
a little chip of ice for my tongue.
Yeah,
No water.
His trainer's like, "No, yeah, fuck that."
It's such a good movie.
Yeah, no, he goes through a lot of suffering. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I need to look more into the background. So, for me, and we'll talk about it with Killers of the Flower Moon, but I feel like when it's a movie that is based on like someone's real life,
Yeah.
like a lot of kind of like my opinion of it is based around like how accurate are we being to this person, like what elements are being stretched and not stretched.
Personally, I don't. That's not like a thing that I concern myself with. Like if it's Flower Moon and it's something that's sensitive, then yeah, I think the closer you are to reality, the better. But if you're just making a movie about like a boxer or like a band or something, just make it entertaining.
You can take liberties. Yeah. I mean, for the most part, I somewhat agree. I think it also, a lot of it has to do with how respectful are we being towards the and the reason why I say that is that I look at it separately as like how I'm enjoying the movie is affected by this, like by its accuracy to real life. More for me, and especially in this case, because I do not know this person already or like necessarily care about like, you know, their story.
Didn't even know it existed
personally.
Yeah.
But it's more just like it's always in the back of my mind, like, wow, I wonder if that really happened. That's crazy. Did that really fucking happen?
Yeah.
And whereas like I can look at it separately as like I can also look at it separately as like how is it as a movie?
For me, as long as it's broad strokes, it's whatever. As like if he just had a falling out with his brother, and the show and the movie shows him kicking his ass, but in reality they just like stop talking. I'd rather that he kick his ass in the movie.
Yeah,
especially if they're both dead.
Absolutely.
Like do what you want, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's also a thing where it's like how, like, if they are damaging the person's legacy or like people are upset about like with something like Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah,
like a lot of people, you know, people close to Freddie Mercury and stuff were upset by how he was portrayed and how elements of his life story were portrayed. Like, for example, like in Bohemian Rhapsody. Have you seen Bohemian Rhapsody?
No.
Do you hear about spoilers for it?
No, I don't.
So basically, the movie ends with them doing the Live Aid concert, you know, like for Africa and stuff. Yeah. And the kind of whole thing around that is, and like the emotional push behind that is like soon before they did that concert in the movie, Freddie found out about his AIDS diagnosis.
Oh, okay.
And like that's kind of like a driving force for them to like, we're gonna play because it might be my last show, and you know, like that's like cinematic. Like, and I get how cinematically, like, you know, that's a really good like thing to pair up. Is like, yeah, we're gonna do it for, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But in real life, he did not find out about his AIDS diagnosis until 2 years after that concert.
Okay, yeah, I can understand.
And I didn't know that. While I was watching the movie, I found out about that afterwards, and it deflated the power of that scene for me.
Yeah,
you know,
because it's in the back of your mind.
Yeah, because I'm like, anytime I rewatch the movie now, I'm going to think, well, that didn't really happen. So.
Yeah, I think my philosophy is like, it's the same as Ridley Scott in his in like the way he's responding to like criticisms of Napoleon. Movies are not textbooks. If you're learning your history from movies, you're doing it wrong. Like you're like. Movies are for entertainment. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. No. I mean, like I said, I don't necessarily mind that. Like, I feel like I'm not putting across what I'm trying to say as far as that goes. If the person who it's about, or like the estate of if the person that it's about or the estate of the person it's about is okay with the liberties that are being taken with the story, that's fine.
Yeah.
Or if it's obviously like without a doubt, it is an extension of the truth. Like, no one's gonna say that Abraham Lincoln was really a vampire hunter. You know what I mean?
I got you.
As far as like, or like, you know, Bill and Ted, like they got all those historical figures. Yeah, you can take liberties with like, maybe we shouldn't grab Genghis Khan, like, you know, this awful human being. It depends. I think ultimately what I'm trying to say is that it depends on the context.
Yeah, I'd say so too.
This movie, Raging Bull, is a serious drama, and the way that it's presented is that this, to me at least, is that this is supposed to be an accurate depiction of this man's life.
Biography, almost.
Yeah, and like, you know, I'm gonna look into it, and ultimately seeing how accurate or inaccurate this movie is gonna affect my final thoughts on it.
Yeah.
But I can still judge it as like how it was as a movie to me, you know.
Yeah.
And like for me, I'll just get my overall thoughts now since I'm talking about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I found it like I thought De Niro's performance was great. I thought Joe Pesci was really good.
Yeah.
Outside of those two performances, there wasn't anyone else that super stood out to me.
No.
Like his wife Vicky, I don't know what's
I
the
think she did a good job.
I mean, she was good, but they didn't give her a lot to do. The problem with her was more like in her writing. I feel like they didn't really give her a lot of depth. Kathy Moriarty is the actress's name.
Mm-hmm.
There were a couple other like little side characters too, but like you know, outside of them, it definitely like I feel like a lot of Scorsese's movies for me give a really good sense of like of location, and he kind of has a similar thing that Spielberg has. I mean, like I put Scorsese and Spielberg in a bit of a same realm because of this. They're very good at giving me a sense of location and like a sense of like really being absorbed in the setting.
Sure.
Like I thought Taxi Driver did it really well. Like the way
Taxi Driver is like a prime example of that.
Yeah, like where he described how dirty the city was.
The city is like it's oppressive in that movie. Like it's inescapable, and that's like half the point of the movie.
Yeah, just like how grimy it is.
Just like, isn't New York fucked up in the 70s?
Absolutely. And I feel like this movie, with the exception of the boxing scenes, like any of the scenes outside of the boxing scenes, I'm like, this kind of just feels like a play to me.
Sure.
Almost.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, so I react really strongly and really well to just like scenes of two people just having a conversation in a room, as long as the dialogue and the performances are strong. And that's why I think I love. That's why I love Raging Bull so much. It really is just like it's people talking in rooms, or he's in a fight. And there is like that kind of Scorsese like wild stuff happens, and it's like surreal, but like you know that it actually happened, so it's extra surreal. Like Joe Pesci just beats the crap out of this guy in this bar.
That was a great scene.
And slams his head in a car door.
Yeah.
I don't know. It didn't feel so much like a play to me as other like character studies. I think there was like dynamic. It doesn't really have a sense of place, like you said, but I think they moved around quite a bit. So they didn't like, especially the fights. It's all all over the map.
Oh yeah, no, the fight scenes are incredible in this movie. Those are probably like my production wise, like my favorite. Like the way it's always like smoky. Yeah. Every time there's like a lot of really exaggerated things with like the lights, and I love the moments where I'm gonna adjust this and hope it doesn't fuck up. There we go. There are a lot of moments where they'll just like turn the lights down and kind of have like a spotlight on a particular move or whatever. And
yeah, oh man, the way the fights, and there are a lot of fights in this movie, the way that they are filmed is just absolutely stellar. It's complete. It's so Rocky. The fight scenes in Rocky are intense, but they're shot like they're being filmed for TV, or that you're like ringside. Yeah,
that you're like watching the game.
These fights are filmed from inside the ring, so the whole movie is entirely about Jake LaMotta's character, and it's entirely about him. There's very few scenes that don't have him in it. So you're in there with him, and you're watching it. And also, this is the difference between a PG boxing movie and an R-rated boxing movie. Is this movie is gory. Especially in the fight scenes.
Oh no, when you see just like liquid squirt out of people's faces, blood, and
very impressive practical effects. And he punches that one boxer, and like his nose breaks open and blood just gushes everywhere.
You just see his mouth guard fly away.
And the last fight with Sugar Ray, and he just spits up blood all over the front row. No, it's gory, and it's super effective gore too. It's not just there to be edgy. It drives the brutality of these fights home. And it's the whole Rocky, like, it's not how hard you can hit, but how hard you can get hit. And he gets hit hard, and he can,
especially in that last fight, he looks like shit.
That's what, there's this whole scene with Joe Pesci, and Joe Pesci's like, oh, what's he trying to say? He's like trying to convince him of something, and Jake's just like, you know what? Just hit me. Go ahead, hit me. And he convinces him to hit him. He just hits him over, and he just doesn't react.
Yeah, he's trying to. Joe. Like I think he's trying to convince Joe Pesci, who is his brother and his manager, Joey. I was about to say Tommy, but that's his character in Goodfellas. Trying to convince him that he can take on this like next guy.
He was trying to fight a heavyweight, and he's not. He's middleweight.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Let me show you. Like, go ahead and hit me." And Joey's like, "Fine." And he hits him a bunch of times, and he just stands there and takes it. And he's like, "What are you trying to prove?" And he just gives him like a noogie or something. It's like, I already proved it.
Yeah, they got really good chemistry in this movie.
They have good chemistry in every movie.
Yeah, but it was really interesting. I didn't expect Joe Pesci to be in this. I love him so much.
He's great in this.
Yeah, no, he's super young.
Yeah,
I didn't. Everyone's super well.
It's 1980.
Yeah, but I don't know, I'm just so used to like my mental image of him is just in Goodfellas, you know. And it's funny because in Goodfellas he's playing a character that's supposed to be much younger than De Niro.
That's true.
Because
he's supposed to be like a kid.
Yeah, because like yeah.
We were saying that's the Scorsese problem, is like all the people that are supposed to be like 20 look like they're 35 because we're going to be with these characters for so long and so deep into their lives that they start out looking so old. Like Ray Liotta is supposed to be like 19 at the start of Goodfellas, and he looks like 35.
Yeah. Well, they did have
this kid here. It's like Dewey Cox.
They did have another actor playing young Ray Liotta, and
as a teenager.
But yeah, I guess at a point
when he's supposed to be 20, and he's what's her name? The actress,
Dr. Melfi.
Yeah, Dr. Melfi's like yelling at him in front of that bar, and he's like, what of it? I'm an old man.
Yeah, I think her character's name is Karen in that movie.
She's also supposed to be 20.
Yeah,
Karen. I remember the way he says the way Ray Liotta says Karen.
Lorraine Bracco.
Lorraine Bracco. Okay,
she's a great actress.
I see her name at the beginning of every episode of Sopranos. So.
Yep.
Hello. There's a dog here.
Yes, no, my dog Blossom is here. We'll set up a mic for her.
Yeah, so she can add her opinions.
Hopefully one that doesn't short out. But with what are we talking about with just the intensity of the performances.
Of the fight,
the fight scenes, that's what we were talking about. And at the end, man, during that final fight, that shot where
it's one of my favorite shots in any movie at all. It's him staring down the end of his career. So this movie follows the Scorsese formula of a long period of like ups and down, but mostly ups, of a very successful person who kind of does a bunch of bad things, does a bunch of good things, and then there's a tipping point where it all just goes right downhill and all the way down to like the dump. And this scene with his last fight with Sugar Ray Robinson is that tipping point. And he's just facing down the end of his career, and he's gone the distance, and he knows he's not winning this fight. And the camera just zooms in on Sugar Ray, and he's center frame, and it's a Hitchcock pull, and the lights darken on him, and the lens flares like do like a perfect X in front of him.
It's the light,
perfect.
The lights kind of just like fold like onto Sugar Ray.
Oh, it's such a beautiful shot. And then Sugar Ray beats the absolute hell out of him, and he and wins the fight. But
just destroys him.
You didn't knock me down, Ray.
Didn't knock him down.
Oh, so good.
And I love the editing of it too, because you're just feeling blow after blow after blow, and
it's harsh. And you see blood just squirt out of his face.
Yeah, and you feel like you're getting hit.
Yeah, the sweat flying off of him. It's so well done. Scorsese made like the perfect boxing movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think another thing in this movie, and like I understand why they did it, as far as like this movie for me like has a really stripped down, stripped back kind of thing where you're just supposed to live with the character. There really isn't a score. Like it's very minimalist in terms of
I think outside of his mob movies, I've never been a huge fan of Scorsese's like music choices. And that's also in Flower Moon, but like especially Flower Moon and The Irishman.
You didn't like the score of Flower Moon?
He does this thing, not so much in Raging Bull, but it's kind of there. where music will just keep like this like sort of methodical music will just keep playing through scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And it won't change with the drama of the scene, and it'll just continue on into the next scene.
Mm-hmm.
And it just feels like someone's leaving music playing in the next room that's not connected to the movie.
Yeah,
I've never been huge into his music choices.
yeah, I get what you're saying. He doesn't necessarily use the score super dynamically in his films. No, it's like that's not something I remember.
No.
I mean,
outside of his jukebox stuff that he does for like period pieces.
yeah, and I guess Goodfellas has some good musical cues. Like I love the opening of Goodfellas when I've always wanted to be the gangster.
That movie has like
it
some of
gets
the
you right
best
into it.
examples of music cues that I can think of.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I think of like using songs in movies, Goodfellas is the perfect. Like,
Yeah.
Every single choice in that just hits hard. But when he uses an original score, I just don't tend to like it. Especially in Irishman does the same thing, where it's just kind of the same piece of music just repeats over scenes and doesn't really add or subtract anything.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I think I disagree with you a little bit about Killers of the Flower Moon, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. But with this movie, I mean, I think the lack of like a very present score in this movie works because it's supposed to be such an intimate piece.
Yeah. The score is basically all classical music or classical sounding music.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very operatic and just like, this is this man's story kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
the whole movie just gets out of the way of the story.
Absolutely. Like it really does it feels like a one-man show. It feels very, I was thinking it the whole time I was watching it, and it's been forever since I've seen this movie. It feels very Citizen Kane-esque.
Sure. Yeah.
Just like you're just watching the downfall
Yeah.
of, of a man.
And it gets set. That's the thing. Like I love these movies where it's like, this is a demonstrably bad person, but you still want them to be happy because you've spent all this time with them, and you want them to be happy, but it's still equally satisfying to see them get what they deserve after all this awful stuff that they've done.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you want, like, what is it? I think no matter what, it's always going to be enthralling to watch. It is always going to be captivating to watch another human try to succeed at something.
Yeah.
Like, even though the character portrayed in the movie, Jake LaMotta, like I said, don't know about the real guy, is a terrible person that we see. Like, he's physically and verbally abusive to his partners, to his brother. He's just like a dick to everybody.
Yes.
He like is just so like doesn't trust anybody, but he wants to be the greatest. Like in the first, and he's like working his ass off to like try to be the greatest. And then it is really sad to kind of like see his life kind of fall to pieces.
But it's entirely
it's his own doing, pretty much.
Kind of. A lot of it is. That's what I love. I love these movies where it's a character study of a person. I keep bringing these movies up, but There Will Be Blood and Bronson, and this it's a person who can't get out of their own way because their nature is just so antithetical to their own happiness. Like you can see and you could tell this person directly what they need to do to like be in a better place and to be a happier person at the end of their story, but they wouldn't listen anyway because it's just so ingrained into their person. And that's what's so captivating to me is like all these movies they end in a place that makes perfect sense for this person because you've seen what led up to it. And this is like the only place they could have ended up with the way that their personality works and just the way the world reacts to it.
Yeah.
And this movie ends in a pretty sad place. Jake LaMotta retires.
His wife leaves him.
He
Understandably
gains
so.
a bunch of weight because he's retired and he's drinking and he's smoking and he owns this club, and he kind of gets these like pity laughs and he's kind of just uncomfortable to be around.
Yeah. Like he just says like these really crude, like not even jokes, just like weird.
Because he's just kind of a crude guy.
Yeah.
He's got a head of concrete, like the guy said.
He's curmudgeon-y.
Yeah, he's just like he's
like the Grinch.
He's like your weird dad,
or like your weird uncle.
Yeah, he's like an uncle. Yeah,
that you don't want to talk about politics
super
with.
Crude, like he's old fashioned for us but the movie's set in the 40s, so I don't. It's kind of it's weird to judge it based on, but like
you got to be culturally relative with it. I mean, he doesn't necessarily talk about like a lot of his politics. I just
but the
mean
way
as
he
an
treats,
example.
but the way he treats women and the way they talk about, they drop slurs and stuff all the time. It's but that's Scorsese. That's a choice by Scorsese, I think, to keep it like, I'm not gonna lie to you about this guy.
Yeah, no, I mean it's also it's accurate to the time. I mean, his movies like are accurate. I mean, I remember we'll talk about with Killers of the Flower Moon. I'm like, I feel like there could be a little few more slurs.
For sure. But I think it's all. It's a person who you would not want to be around, but you don't want to stop watching them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's all my favorite movies.
They're really captivating. Just completely, captivating. You might like other. I feel like it's low best other. You ever seen Training Day?
No.
Yeah, with Denzel. Denzel's amazing in that movie, and he's the villain, but he's just so captivating.
I love that.
Yeah, and it's another thing too. I feel like as another thing about these kind of characters too, which you can say like other De Niro Scorsese films, King Comedy, Taxi Driver, like Joker, which is an homage to that kind of character. It's obviously,
very deliberate homage.
Is that as we kind of get older and like we get more life experiences, I feel like we kind of see these characters that are just kind of like unhinged, or like we relate to the humanity of them a lot more.
Yeah, and absolutely.
That's kind of why these stories, I think, keep getting retold and retold.
I'm really sorry to keep bringing up Bronson.
No, it's okay. We'll watch it.
Bronson has such an unhinged and insane character, but at the end, I identified so strongly with him that I felt like I needed to like reassess myself.
Yeah,
I love that. No, you see yourself in these people. Yeah,
no, for sure. And yeah, I think the only time it ever kind of goes wrong is when or I guess the movies never really do, but just like sometimes people take these kind of films or these kind of characters in the wrong way.
Yeah.
And like take the wrong messages from it.
A lot of the time you'll see people be like, this guy was actually like a bad guy in that movie.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I know. That was the point.
Yeah.
You can watch a movie about a bad person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
They're interesting. They're fun to watch.
Yeah, I feel like there is a little bit of an obsession with like protagonists in media now, where they have to be perfect human beings.
Yeah, that's so boring.
Or like Mary Sue?
And
yeah. What's
Gary Stu.
Gary Stu, yeah, like that kind of whole thing. But yeah, I mean, like, characters can be complex. Like there was a movie, what was it? There was a movie that came out last year that I really loved, and I just really appreciated how what was it? Oh, and it was like a project movie, or not. It's like a Hollywood film, like a franchise film that I really appreciated. Which we have a review for this movie up. Hunger Games, the new Hunger Games. Did you see it?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, so it's about like young President Snow.
Yeah,
right?
I guess
he's evil in that movie.
Yeah,
like he's
is he the protagonist?
He's the protagonist. He's the main character of the movie.
Okay.
And it's about a young President Snow and kind of like his journey and like how he gets into that position.
That's interesting.
Like he starts off poor and he's trying to like rise the ranks politically in the capital to kind of get more power. And his character is not
Caligula.
Yeah, his character is not a good guy. But he's also does things that aren't evil. Like he's trying to support his family, and he has like a sickly mother that he's trying to take care of, and all this stuff. And he has this cousin that he's really close with, who he goes to for advice.
Yeah.
And I do love following morally ambiguous characters because they're way more interesting than following somebody who just always does the good thing.
That's my problem with like lately there have been some attempts to make movies about villains.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Cruella.
Joker's not a good example. Yeah, Cruella and Venom. It's just like it's like, okay, so we're gonna see an origin story for a villain, and then you watch it and they're just the good guy the whole time.
They just like do everything to make you think like they're not all bad.
I can still like be interested in a character and not think that they're a good person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that
was definitely that's what I appreciated about the Hunger Games, that they did not try to trick you into thinking that this person was a good guy, and that's something that you don't see in modern like Hollywood IP movies.
I had no idea. That's really interesting.
Yeah, it's something that I haven't heard anyone else really talk about with that movie too. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, but no, I totally agree with you. And like Cruella, I enjoyed Cruella as far as like a lot of the new age Disney kind of remakes more than some others. But I agree that like I don't like that trend that's happening.
I didn't see it, but I saw Venom, and I was like, wait, he's like a good guy in this?
Yeah.
Like, I understand Venom is a good guy. Like,
he's like an anti-hero
he tries
type.
to be a good guy. He's just too dumb to know how.
Yeah, Venom is its own whole thing,
Yeah.
man. I think for me personally, the best modern interpretation of Venom is that new Spider-Man 2 game.
Oh my God.
I love how they did Venom in that
blew
game.
my mind.
Yeah.
That was my favorite thing about that game.
Yeah,
was
no.
how they did Venom.
Absolutely.
We are miles away from topic.
Yeah. No, well, I don't even remember what we were else. But
Jake LaMotta.
Jake LaMotta, Raging Bull. I guess one aspect of Raging Bull that I really want to make sure that we talk about is the choice to make this movie black and white.
Oh, it's so pretty.
And also just in general, movies.
Talk about black and white.
Yeah, talk about black and white in movies in a modern era where it's like you don't necessarily have to shoot in black and white. Modern movies making that choice too.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the Wikipedia here real quick. I got a little bit more clarification on why Scorsese chose to do black and white. The main reason was because when they were kind of doing the costuming and like doing test footage for this movie, he was planning on shooting it in color, 35 millimeter color film.
Yeah.
But the historically accurate gloves and like equipment was like really dark, like brown, black, or ox blood colors.
It's
like
because it was all leather, right?
yeah, because it was all leather. And it just did not look good on like the film of the time. Like it didn't pop, and like it looked.
Oh, but this movie looks gorgeous in black and white.
Oh yeah, no, black and white is definitely a great choice for it.
Yeah.
It was that combined with and him wanting to do that just to, like, yeah, be able to like have a different kind of look to it, but also he was at the time he was kind of like worried about the degradation of film. And how, like, you know, movie.
He still is.
I mean, he still is.
Yeah.
Well, now.
It's like one of those main talking points.
Yeah. I mean, now it's a bit better because, one, companies that are doing film restoration are really good at it now.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the technology we have to be able to, like, bring, this shit back and make it look as good as it does.
Yeah.
Like,
And plus, we have, like, digital archives and stuff.
exactly. And, like, once something is scanned and digitized, like, it's not going to degrade in the same way.
Yeah.
But basically he wanted a movie that like was going to stand the test of time better, and it being in black and white, it's not going to degrade at nearly the same rate.
Interesting.
Or the color, at least, because there's no color, isn't going to degrade.
It is very strong looking. Like the
Yeah.
contrast is beautiful.
No, the detail in it
And
is
at this
excellent.
point, a black and white movie is just so novel. Like I don't watch a whole lot of them, and I think especially a modern one, it just looks so striking and so bold.
I had a really weird. Courtney's gonna make fun of me about this. I had a really weird period in college where like I watched this video talking about like watching movies in color in black and white, and there was also a stretch where they were kind of releasing certain movies that were in color in black and white. So they did. I don't know if you did this. They did a special release version of Logan in black and white.
Okay.
They did a version of Mad Max Fury Road in black and white.
Oh.
And after watching this trend, like I would literally change the settings on my TV, get rid of the color to watch. I watched Indiana Jones in black and white.
You know what? That would work.
E.T. in black and white. Indiana Jones was the best one
Indiana
for me.
Jones works so well.
Dude, just if people at home, if you just want to experiment with this, just watch the opening scene of like Indy getting the idol and the ball just in black and white, and it really makes you appreciate how good Spielberg is at just blocking and setting the scene and framing.
Yeah.
Because removing color away, you just see like how well like that scene.
And that movie's supposed to be like a 40s serial anyway.
like an old school.
It's weird that it's in color now that I think about
an
it.
old school adventure series. Well, I mean, that's just like as far as like I feel like at that time people weren't thinking about
That'd be too artsy.
Yeah, those nostalgic elements of it.
But
people,
you know what I mean.
We'd had color for so long. But no, I understand what
Like
you're
the
saying.
vibe of the movie is black and white for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
And what the hell? Sorry, I think I just saw a fucking coyote run across the street outside the window. I saw a creature. Or
There's a creature out there.
Might have been a stray dog.
There's some kind of a being.
A critter.
There's a creepy critter out there.
That Star Wars, E.T. was cool too because it kind of felt like a 50s B sci-fi movie,
Okay.
And just I definitely feel like immediately when something is in black and white, I think a big part of why I think people are resistant to it is that for me at least, and this is something that sometimes I can be resistant to about new movies in black and white, is that it can feel to me like you are automatically making it feel unnatural.
Okay.
In a way that, like, when I watch movies, for the most part, the movies I enjoy most are movies that make me forget I'm watching a movie.
Okay.
Like, I'm so absorbed in it, I'm so in the world where, like, I'm forgetting that I'm watching something that is a trick of light and, like, fake and sets or whatever, and, like, I'm just absorbed in the world. And when something modern is in black and white, automatically that puts up a barrier of I'm watching something that is false. Like, this is not like, you know, like, this is a movie.
I guess I can understand that. I think I find it pretty easy to get engrossed in this movie as an example. I think it just enhanced it. I found it really easy to get immersed in the world of this movie, and honestly forgot it was in black and white. At some point.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying. I think
very well shot.
I think this movie is a good example of a movie that really benefits from it.
Yeah,
because the movie is so focused.
It adds like a layer of like artificiality, is what you mean.
Yeah. Well, I think it takes away a level of a potential distraction, or like it makes it that you have to. In the scenes where De Niro's losing it, like my favorite scene in the movie is probably him freaking out in prison.
Yeah,
honestly, like I think that's like for me the most powerful moment in the movie because it's just pure.
It's the energy of it and the anguish that he's feeling. Right.
De Niro's performance purely. There's nothing else in the scene. It's an empty cell. He's just punching the wall. There's like light coming in through the window.
So good.
And it's just him. And I feel like if that scene was in color, it would lose some of its power because like you are solely just absorbing the performance and nothing else.
No, it's stark.
Yeah.
I think that's what adds so much to this movie about it being black and white. It's just it's taking away yet another layer. Mm-hmm. It feels like the rubber meeting the road.
Yeah.
It's just so stark and gritty feeling, you know?
Yeah.
I would hate to watch Fury Road in black and white.
Yeah, no, that's one where like I didn't watch the whole thing. I saw Logan all in black and white. I didn't think it really added much.
But any movie with CGI, I don't really want to see it in black and white. Like CGI, like whole characters and stuff.
Well, I think it's just those are examples of movies that really wouldn't because color is so important.
Yes,
in those movies.
I feel like on the inverse, I get really bored with a lot of color movies.
Like, what do you mean?
I think color is a really cool tool. I think using Goodfellas as an example, color is used really well in that movie, and it's very bold, and the blacks are super black. But I feel like a lot of the time movies just look really boring and dull.
What is an example of a movie for you that where like it being in color took away from it?
I wouldn't say it takes away from it. I would say color doesn't add anything in a lot of movies.
Or you mean like the director isn't doing anything, like the filmmakers aren't doing anything interesting with it? Yeah,
I think that happens a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think they're definitely. So Fury Road being an example, it's like the one we were talking about.
Fury Road has great colors.
It's great. It's supposed to feel like the look of Fury Road is oversaturated, really intense blues and oranges.
Hot.
Yeah, no. You can feel when I saw that in theaters, like I felt like I was in the desert.
Yeah.
Like I was in this like drugged up, like high octane, it feels like an adrenaline rush.
Right.
Like, it's like a fucking soda commercial. Mm-hmm. Like it's, it gets you on edge.
Yeah.
Or something like the immediate example I thought of is like movies that I think color plays a huge role. Both the Blade Runner movies,
absolutely,
I think would not fucking work in black and white.
Any sci-fi movie, I don't want to see a sci-fi movie in black and white unless it's like a campy, like 50s movie.
Yeah, true.
I just think like you think about like a rom-com or something. It's just there.
I feel like what would be good in black and white? What fucking black and white? And I might go try to watch it in black and white. The Thing, bro.
Oh, dude,
The Thing would fuck in
Whoa,
black and
with
white.
like super like high contrast black and white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet that would slap hard.
That sounds awesome.
Oh,
With the practical effects.
we're doing the projector movie night with the thing in here.
I'm
in black
so
and
down
white.
with that. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's next episode. Right
I'm
there.
so down with that.
Fuck Saltburn. I'm sorry, I interrupted you
I
completely.
love
What were
the
you
thing.
saying?
I forget. It doesn't matter.
Damn it. We can go back in here. But no, so you were talking about any sci-fi movie. Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I think you more as like a big, bold sci-fi movie, like something like
Yeah.
The Creator. You wouldn't want to.
No,
see
yeah,
in black
yeah,
and
you
white.
know, yeah, any like futuristic or like space movie, but
Yeah.
if it's just like in a world where everyone has computers for eyes, you can put that in black and white. I don't care.
Yeah. You know, I think
I'd see her in black and white.
the movie
Wouldn't add anything.
with what's Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah,
Well, that's one I disagree. I think the colors in her is a big part
the
of it.
colors are beautiful in her.
Yeah, no, just like the soft, like kind of like pastel-y.
That's
kinda
what. That's
light
like
pinks,
I think I saw a
oranges.
meme where it was like the dystopian future you wanted, and it's Blade Runner, and it's like the dystopian future you got, and it's her.
Pretty much. With Alexa's out here.
Yeah.
With chat. I'm dating chatbot GBT.
Yeah, exactly.
But what was I thinking? I was thinking more about this. I think I get I'm the more I'm thinking about it, I think I know a big part of what modern movies that you would put in black and white. And when I say modern, I think this is going back a while, but I think when I think modern, I think movies made past the point where having your movie be in color not being a hindrance
Yeah.
is like where like why not shoot in color because you can
Making it a deliberate artistic decision.
exactly rather than a technical limitation.
I think it adds a lot to like really intense interpersonal dramas. Maybe Marriage Story would be cool in black and white.
Yeah, I think so too, because I think any movie that's small in scope, because I think that's a big element. So something like The Thing or Alien, I think could work really well.
Alien would be cool.
It automatically movies that feel cold,
Directly contradicting
Yeah.
what I said before.
yeah, no, exactly.
But Alien would be cool in
throw
black and
up.
white. I don't care.
We know Blade Runner wouldn't. But
Don't take anything I say seriously.
But movies that are supposed black and white automatically just adds coldness. Like
Yeah.
like anything if you feeling isolating.
That's why the lighthouse is so scary.
Exactly.
It adds to it anyway.
It's one location.
It's the aspect ratio too.
Too.
But it's like it's so cold and stark and it feels
it makes you feel claustrophobic and uncomfortable.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Anything uncomfortable and small feeling like
Yep.
that. Like a movie that is in black and white that I don't think I've seen the colorized version of this movie too. Psycho.
Oh yeah.
I've seen Psycho colorized and I think it fucking sucks.
Are you talking about the Vince Vaughn version?
No, the OG, bro. I haven't seen the Vince Vaughn
The
version.
Vince Vaughn version, from my understanding, was just so no one else would make a remake. It was like this remake's gonna happen, so we might as well just do it. And they did it in a way that is one for one, exactly like the same script and everything,
Apparently there's a
just color.
apparently there's a fan edit out there of I forget where, I think I saw it on TikTok or something, where somebody cut together the original Psycho with the remake.
Yeah, the '90s one.
Yeah, where like they literally like will like it'll change.
That's interesting.
The like shot, when one shot goes to like someone else, it'll switch back and it's the actor from the new version.
Wow,
Or whatever, and like and the whole thing's in black and white.
that sounds interesting.
Yeah,
Really disorienting.
yeah, I'd be down to watch that.
I love Psycho though.
Oh fuck, we're watching the thing in black and white. We're doing that.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, but so yeah, I feel like yeah, no, just as basically it's contextual. Like
Yes.
artistically, if it works, I can't really think of a modern.
Like Fury Road doesn't make any sense to me to put it in black and white. I can't. I'd like to hear what their logic behind that would be.
I mean, I think it was a cash grab.
Yeah,
I think it was them trying to hop
yeah.
on.
It's like Justice League. It's like why?
That's another
The comics aren't in black and white.
exactly. That's a big. Well, the colors, in my opinion, the colors in both versions, in all versions of that movie suck. I think that
All
movie
those
sucks.
movies are ugly as hell.
Yeah, I think I'm not a fan of, which is funny because like I like some of
Yeah.
Zack Snyder's other work. Like I like Watchmen. I think 300 is his best movie.
I think Watchmen is good because the book is good. I think you know what? I think he's really good at direct adaptation. Like 300 is another adaptation. I think he's just. I think he's good at like, oh, that'd be cool. That would look cool if I did it like that.
Yeah.
He's really good at taking someone else's work and making it look cool.
Yeah, when you give him his own original shit, like Sucker Punch.
Zack Snyder's Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah. Have you seen, he's speaking of moons and Zack's, have you heard of his new movie on Netflix, like Rebel Moon?
No.
You haven't?
I mean, no.
No,
We canceled it on Netflix.
I haven't watched it yet. I don't know if I ever will. One day I'm going to be in the mood to watch it, but it's his it came out on Netflix recently. It's called like Rebel Moon Episode 1, the book of whatever, and literally the whole thing is like Zack Snyder. I'm gonna look up a poster to show you.
Okay.
Zack Snyder wanted to make a Star Wars movie. Like he pitched it to Lucasfilm or Disney like years ago.
Interesting.
And they just didn't want to, so he decided
He made his own.
He made his own
His knockoff Star Wars.
His knockoff Star Wars, and it literally, yeah, this is the movie. Yeah, this is the poster for it, or his own knockoff Star Wars, where it's literally like, and this is legit a shot from the movie.
Whoa,
like they had
lightsabers.
those are lightsabers, like legit in the trailer.
Lightsabers in this movie.
Straight up lightsabers.
Okay.
I heard Oh yeah, no. The full title is the whole full title is Rebel Moon Part 1: A Child of Fire.
Bruh. Do you think, does it start with a text crawl?
I have no idea. It's been getting kind of middling reviews, like kind of what you'd expect with people. Like the visuals are cool, but there isn't much substance.
Honestly, it's weird that he keeps getting work. I think just because like all the energy behind the Snyder Cut, but it seems like every project he's put out for the last like 10 years have been like middling to negative reception. He did that that Dawn of the Dead sequel that also got like negative reviews. It's like I don't understand how this guy keeps being able to make movies.
I feel like he has his kind of his sycophants, where
his
like
fanboys.
His diehard fans really run diehard for Snyder.
Yeah,
and like I don't know, I
like cool visuals too, man, but I also like good movies.
Yeah, I just think he's not a. I saw a video once that was breaking down why the Snyderverse sucks.
Yeah.
And the main thing they kind of came down to was Zack Snyder is obsessed with moments and not scenes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like he loves, like he wants to make, like he just wants to make really cool YouTube shorts.
Yeah.
I
get it. When I think of a script, it's usually because I think of like a cool opening scene, and then I'm like, oh, well, I can't think of like the rest of it.
Exactly. Like I remember distinctly a lot of scenes from fucking Man of Steel, for example. Like I really liked Man of Steel when it came out.
Yeah.
But I can't tell you what order they're in.
No. I remember that IHOP got fucked up.
Yeah. They destroyed an IHOP. But yeah, no, it's just definitely. So back to Martin Scorsese.
Oh yeah, Raging Bull.
So what are your final thoughts on this movie?
I love it.
You love it?
I love it. I love character. I love really good character studies, and this is one of the best ever made. And you know, Scorsese's just always been a master. I think he just came out the womb, just an absolute master. And I honestly, it's. Oh, we didn't even talk about the massive weight gain and loss. That De Niro did. That's worth like a footnote mention that he insisted on. Not only did he get in like boxing shape, and he's like incredibly like.
Yeah, beginning of this movie, he's like fit as fuck.
Extremely, and then he gained like 100 pounds or something.
Yeah.
To show. Jake at the end.
At the end of his
life. And it's not a fat suit. He like actually gained like that weight.
Put on that weight, Christian Bale.
It's style. Incredibly impressive, just so he would feel what the actual guy felt like. Yeah. No, it's very impressive. No, but it's a great movie. Love it. Recommend it. If you like strong dramas and strong performances, absolutely.
Yeah. I think right now how I'm feeling about it. I mean, I still have to marinate on it, but. For me, I think De Niro's performance is incredible, and I think for me, it's like I understand the appeal of having a movie that is like so focused and so stark and like so not focused on anything else. But there wasn't, outside of De Niro, for me personally, there wasn't a whole lot to like attach to.
Sure.
as
I get that.
as far as like there wasn't anything I could focus on as far as like I think there's a lot of really good I think the cinematography is quite good for what they use, you know.
It's beautiful.
Like I was saying, like there's a wonderful shot where I forget which fight it is, where it follows him from the back room like fighting. It's a great oneer.
Yeah.
Follows him out into the ring. You kind of get this great sweeping shot of like him getting into the ring.
Full stadium.
You know, but outside of that, like it's just kind of like they're in houses and in apartments and stuff.
Sure.
And you know, they're just like there wasn't a lot of meat to focus on for me versus like something like Taxi Driver.
That's interesting.
Like I was thinking about Taxi Driver a lot watching this, as far as like I really felt the world in Taxi Driver.
That's interesting because you finish your
no,
thought.
no, like, I'm not saying
I'll
that
jump in.
I'm not saying that your opinion of the movie's about or whatever.
No,
It's
no,
just
I'm
like,
not. I'm just. It's interesting because I have like that's basically my opinion of the way Flower Moon was shot.
Mm-hmm.
Was that it was the movie got out of its way so much that it was just kind of boring to look at the whole time. Yeah. But anyway, sorry.
No, I get what you're saying. With that, and we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. But yeah, for me, it was just was it? Well, my brain can't work with my brain. But yeah, no, like it. Yeah, and like I said, obviously I need to marinate on it a bit more. But but yeah, no, just like a great performance, a great character study.
Yeah.
Just you know, straightforward downfall of a man. But with Taxi Driver was what I was thinking of. Like I really, when we were rolling around in his cab in Taxi Driver, and just like the way the streets looked, and just like the way how dirty everything was.
It's extremely like tactile. You can feel that city.
Exactly, and there was just like this level of detail in the world that I didn't.
Yeah. That
like I was craving, but didn't necessarily get. And I get what you're saying as far as like, you know, well, if the writing is strong enough to like to break through, like something like Quentin Tarantino, my favorite movie, Reservoir Dogs. I fucking love Reservoir Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs is great.
And that's just talking.
Yeah, movie's also like you could say boring to look at.
Yeah, no, like there isn't anything visually interesting about that movie, but
there's like interesting. There's some good cinematography, but
yeah, no, but it ultimately
it's all very gray.
It is just about the characters, and for me, there wasn't anything about this story that's super stood out.
Sure.
But I mean, part of that is just because it's based on someone's real life. Although that's a bad argument to make with this next movie.
You know, I think that's interesting. I think it's like it's I can understand why it wouldn't work, but I think it might have been intentional to just be like in the black and white too, just to be like, this is a spotlight of this one man with no distractions. Mm-hmm. But no, I agree that the world felt pretty lacking in like detail.
Yeah, but like I said, that's fine. And I think another thing too is that like I don't know. It might not just been super for me. But like I said, I have to rewatch it. I'll learn more about it, and my opinion will probably improve. Like similar to how after we finished Codes of the Flower Moon, I really liked it. But then after sitting with it for a day and like learning more about the making of it and stuff, I love it.
Okay, cool.
So, you know, similar thing can happen with Raging Bull.
Nice.
Yeah, no. So, and the last thing with Raging Bull, which we're stealing from another podcast, what prop would you want? This is kind of a toughie for this one. This is a hard one to start with.
I want to steal
from this movie?
I want the TV with the big magnifying glass in front of it.
That's all fucked up.
Yeah, that TV never works in this movie. He's like trying to fix it the whole time, but it's this like 40s TV that has this big magnifying glass in front of the screen because the screen is so small. Mm-hmm. I just think it's a really cool looking thing.
That's pretty great.
I'd take the TV.
Yeah, that's a good one. Let's see. Thinking about this movie, I think I want I think I want the picture of Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci like
doing the
punching each other in the mantle.
That's sick.
And just have that.
I'd
on
have
my
that
shelf.
as a poster.
Yeah, that'd be really funny.
You want the rosary to hang over it too?
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Just for extra authenticity.
That'd be awesome.
Cool.
Or I want that the first time when what's the wife's name in this movie?
Vicky.
Like she has like this like hair cover, like crochet.
Yeah, she's got this like
I'm like,
hair sack
that
that people wore.
That thing looks cozy. I want
Yeah.
that thing. But no, I think I'm gonna go with the picture of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, no, like by no means. I just think I have to marinate on him more. Yeah, great performance.
So, here we go. With childish frustrations and complexes which the police are searching for James Thomas, believed to be the lover of Miss Williams, and her partner in the horrible murder of Walter. Where's everybody? They're not here. They won't go. Oh, please tell me where they've gone. Please tell me. Sorry, I don't know. How long is it? Mile and a half? Look what I've got in here. 3 tickets to Albany on 6 o'clock train tonight. What do you think? Special agent.